Welcome back. U.S., Russian, and United Nations officials are set to meet this week to try to accelerate peace efforts in Syria. But despite claims of progress, there is little evidence that either side in Syria will put a halt to this extremely damaging civil war. More than 2 years of violence have seen almost 70,000 people killed. And our next guest thinks neither the U.S. or Russia could ever facilitate peace in Russia. Kerry Patton is a terror analyst and the author of Contracted, America's Secret Warriors. Kerry joins us live now from New York. Thanks for taking time to speak with us once again, Kerry.
As always, it's a pleasure, sir.
All right. Let's first start with this. What can Russia and the U.S. do to do anything to end the civil war in Syria?
Nothing. Look, civil wars cannot be ended by external influencers. In fact, history suggests that the more players from the outside come in, the more bloody, the more prolonged these civil engagements last. So I think it would be absolutely wrong for the United States specifically to get any further engaged into Syria than what we already have been. And of course, we have been providing some aid. It's mostly all humanitarian with food, medical supplies, and so forth. But Russia, on the other hand, has been very seriously engaged, specifically with military advisors and military surplus. So, again, this is not something that the United States wants to play around with, knowing that Russia is so heavily involved.
Well, Kerry, let's talk about this, because it sounds to me like the Russians are playing both sides against the middle here. Not to say that the U.S. might not be surreptitiously supplying the side that they support in this, but Russia is actively supporting the Bashar al-Assad regime. How can they be promoting peace, yet providing weapons?
Well, peace is a matter of perception, I guess, specifically for the Russians. It's one of those things, they want to see an end state evolve with Bashar al-Assad, his regime, still in power. That's what they determine peace to be. They do not believe peace could be resolved through either side coming to an agreement from some type of treaty. And normally that's what the United States and our Western allies look for. They look for some type of treaty between two parties that can engage with one another to both meet equal desired stated goals. It's just not going to happen, though.
Well, given the situation that currently exists in Syria, you have the Bashar al-Assad regime systematically wiping out its own people. You have factions, rebel factions, that are as disparate as you can imagine. How, in the name of all that is holy, could this ever be resolved?
Unfortunately, I don't know if it's going to truly be resolved. And the reason why I say that is what you see in Syria is just a small little epicenter of a historical dilemma between not really certain tribes or certain ethnicities, but really a clash of religious cultures between a predominantly Shiite sect versus a predominantly Sunni sect. So what you really have is a clash in Syria that goes far beyond just Syria. It goes with all of Arabia, and it goes with a lot of Persia. Basically, it's the Levant unfolding into, a serious physical calamity.
Well, Kerry, let's talk a bit about that, because there's a generational problem here that's been going on for time immemorial, it seems, in that area. Why has it become focused in Syria?
Syria really is one of those unique situations that it's kind of like an island, if you will, in Arabia and part of North Africa, if you will, where it's really the only true non-Sunni controlled nation in that region. If you look at if you look at Jordan, you look at Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, UAE, blah, 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 they're mostly all Sunni. But then you got Syria, which is pretty far away, believe it or not, from Iran, i.e. Persia. It's because of that ally there in Iran. And next door to them is Lebanon, who really is now controlled by Hezbollah party members, which obviously is also backed and supported by Iranian Shiite elements. So that specific little corner, if you will, in that region has the potential to bleed and expand that Shiite footprint.
Kerry, last question for you because we've got to wrap this up. But is it possible for the U.S. to stand on the sidelines and try to arrange a diplomatic solution here? Or do they actively have to get involved if Russia continues to arm Bashar al-Assad?
You know, some of your listeners might be really happy that I say this, while I'm sure a lot will not be very keen of Kerry Patton. I got to tell you, the best thing the United States and our Western allies could do right now is not even try to engage with diplomatic speak. This is a great situation for the West. We see the horrors unfold, but those horrors actually serve as a good thing for us right now because it concentrates terrorist entities around the world to go and fight, just like they did in the 80s in Afghanistan. This could very well be our generation's Afghan type of war, and hopefully we learn from our historical mistakes and we don't engage in it and just allow the bloodshed to unfold as horrifically as that actually is.
Kerry, as always, we appreciate your comments and your analysis. Thanks for this.
You got it, Brian. Have a good one.
You take care, my man. That was terror analyst and the author of Contracted: America's Secret Warriors, Kerry Patton. He joined us live from New York.